In times of economic fear, most people make the same mistake. They become obsessed with prediction. They want to know when the recession will begin, how long it will last, which market will fall, which industry will survive, and when confidence will return. But centuries before modern economists measured recessions, Japanese merchant families faced their own cycles of uncertainty. Crop failures disrupted prices, fires destroyed entire commercial districts, political decisions changed taxes and trade. Demand rose and disappeared. Fortunes could be built over decades and lost in a single season. The merchants who survived were not always those who predicted the crisis correctly. They were the ones who built their lives so that prediction was unnecessary. Their system was quiet, disciplined, and almost invisible. It began with a principle that modern consumers often forget. Prosperity is not proven by how much you can spend during good times. It is proven by how little chaos enters your life when good times end. During Japan's Edo period, merchants occupied a complicated position in society. They were economically important, yet officially ranked below farmers, artisans, and samurai in the social order. Many controlled valuable goods, credit relationships, warehouses, and commercial networks. But public displays of wealth could attract resentment, suspicion, or unwanted attention. This environment encouraged a particular kind of financial intelligence. Wealth had to be useful without becoming theatrical. It had to remain productive. A merchant house was not simply trying to make money this year. It was trying to remain standing through the next fire, the next shortage, the next political change, and the next generation. That changed the way money was understood. Income was temporary, reputation was fragile, capital had to be protected, and survival depended on habits formed before the emergency arrived. The ancient system was not a single written formula followed by every merchant. It was a pattern of behavior found across durable merchant traditions. Live below the strength of the business. Preserve reserves. Record everything. Protect relationships. Avoid unnecessary debt. Reinvest patiently. Prepare successors, and never confuse a prosperous season with permanent security. At the center of this system was restraint. When trade was strong, a disciplined merchant did not immediately redesign his entire life around the new income. He understood that a good year could become a dangerous teacher. It could convince a family that temporary abundance was normal. Larger homes required more maintenance. More servants created fixed obligations. Luxury goods became expectations. Social status became expensive to defend. The family might appear richer while becoming less resilient. This is the same trap modern households experience when income rises. A salary increases, but savings do not. A bonus arrives, and monthly expenses expand. A successful investment creates confidence, and confidence becomes overexposure. The person feels wealthier because consumption has improved, but the structure beneath the consumption has weakened. Edo merchants understood opportunity cost even if they did not use the modern term. Every coin used for display was a coin unavailable for inventory, repairs, reserves, debt reduction, or future opportunity. Money had more than one possible life. It could disappear into immediate pleasure, or it could remain available. And availability was power. During economic contraction, this distinction became decisive. The household that had converted every prosperous year into a more expensive lifestyle had very little room to move. The household that preserved flexibility could reduce activity without collapsing. This reveals the first principle of recession survival. Keep your life lighter than your income. Minimalism, in this sense, was not an aesthetic. It was financial engineering. A simple household required less money to protect. Lower fixed expenses created time. Time made better decisions possible. A person with no margin must react immediately. A person with reserves can wait, negotiate, think, and observe. This is why cash reserves mattered so deeply to merchant families. Idle money may appear unproductive during stable times, but during uncertainty, liquidity performs a different function. It prevents desperation. A reserve protects a household from selling productive assets at the worst moment. It allows a business to continue paying essential costs when trade slows. It creates the ability to buy supplies when others cannot. It preserves dignity in negotiation. Most importantly, it protects the mind. Financial psychology changes under pressure. When people fear losing income, their attention narrows. They become more sensitive to threats and more attracted to immediate relief. Long-term planning becomes difficult. A temporary decline begins to feel permanent. This can lead to panic selling, reckless borrowing, desperate speculation, or complete paralysis. The problem is not simply a lack of intelligence, it is a lack of emotional space. Reserves create that space. They do not eliminate uncertainty. They reduce the number of decisions that must be made while afraid. But money alone was not enough. Merchant houses also depended on information. Ledgers were instruments of survival. Records revealed which products moved, which customers paid slowly, which expenses were growing, and where money was quietly leaking. In prosperous periods, poor records can hide behind rising income. During contraction, the hidden weaknesses become visible. This is why disciplined accounting was more than administration. It was a method of seeing reality before reality became painful. Modern consumers often avoid financial records for emotional reasons. They fear what the numbers may reveal, but avoidance does not reduce danger. It only delays awareness. A household that tracks spending can make small corrections early. A household that refuses to look may eventually be forced into large corrections without preparation. The ancient lesson is simple. Clarity is cheaper than crisis. Another part of merchant resilience was reputation. Business was built through repeated relationships. Trust affected access to suppliers, customers, credit, information, and cooperation. A merchant who protected his name during difficult times preserved an asset that could not be stored in a warehouse. This matters today because recession survival is not purely individual. Skills, relationships, reliability, and social trust can become forms of economic capital. A person known for competence may hear about opportunities earlier. A business that communicates honestly may retain customers longer. A worker who has built genuine relationships may receive support, referrals, or information unavailable to someone who treated every interaction as a transaction. Financial independence does not mean isolation. It means reducing fragile dependence while strengthening valuable connections. Merchant families also thought beyond one lifetime. A business that existed only through the judgment of one founder was vulnerable. Knowledge had to be transferred. Rules had to survive personality. Younger generations had to understand not only how wealth was created, but why certain limits existed. This is the foundation of generational wealth. It is not merely leaving assets. It is leaving decision-making ability. Without discipline, inherited wealth becomes delayed consumption. Without education, capital becomes something to divide rather than preserve. The family that teaches patience, record-keeping, restraint, and responsibility transfers more than money. It transfers resilience. Modern investors can apply the same principle. A long-term portfolio is not protected by constant activity. It is protected by a sound structure and the discipline to avoid emotional decisions. Economic downturns test investing psychology because falling prices make uncertainty visible. During rising markets, patience feels easy. During decline, patience feels dangerous. People begin treating discomfort as evidence that their plan has failed. They abandon strategies designed for decades because of fear created over weeks. The 8-0 merchant mindset offers a calmer standard. Do not build a financial plan that only works when conditions are pleasant. Before investing, protect essential needs. Avoid depending on money that may be required soon. Maintain enough flexibility that long-term assets are not forced to solve short-term emergencies. The purpose is not to predict every decline. It is to prevent a decline from controlling your behavior. Modern recession mistakes usually begin long before a recession. Too much lifestyle inflation, too little liquidity, high-interest consumer debt, dependence on a single income source, no record of spending, investments chosen through excitement rather than understanding, and a belief that the next year will resemble the last. When conditions change, these weaknesses suddenly appear connected. Debt reduces flexibility. High expenses increase fear. Fear damages judgment. Poor judgment creates losses. Losses increase desperation. The cycle feeds itself. The ancient system interrupts this cycle before it begins. Build a household that can become smaller without becoming broken. Maintain reserves based on real expenses rather than an arbitrary number. Treat debt as a claim on future freedom. Develop skills that remain useful across different economic conditions. Separate investment capital from emergency money. Continue learning when markets are calm, because panic is a poor classroom. Review recurring expenses, protect your reputation, and measure wealth by endurance, not appearance. There is also a deeper principle beneath all of this. A recession is not only an economic event, it is a psychological event. It changes what people notice, what they fear, and how they interpret the future. Consumer confidence falls because uncertainty makes people protect the present. Investors become impatient because falling prices make time feel threatening. Businesses cut spending because survival becomes more important than expansion. The disciplined person does not pretend these emotions do not exist. He prepares so that emotion does not become command. This is where samurai discipline and merchant wisdom meet. The samurai idealized composure before danger. The merchant practiced composure before uncertainty. Both understood that preparation changes the quality of the mind. The unprepared person experiences every disruption as an emergency. The prepared person sees the same disruption as a condition to navigate. There is no financial system that can remove all risk. Edo merchants could not prevent fires, shortages, political change, or commercial failure. Modern households cannot control recessions, interest rates, layoffs, or market declines. But control was never the true objective. The objective was to become harder to destroy. That is the ancient Japanese system for surviving a recession. Not a prediction, not a secret investment, not a promise of safety. A structure, a life with margin, a mind protected from panic, a household that does not need prosperity to continue functioning. And capital given enough time to survive temporary disorder. The strongest financial position is not the one that looks most impressive during abundance. It is the one that remains calm when abundance disappears. Because wealth is not only what grows in good times. Wealth is what remains when difficult times reveal the truth.